Hi, I'm Jeannie Johnson, founder and host of Ridgewood Talks. In 2018, I started Ridgewood Talks to introduce you to the leaders and legends of the village and to dig into the town's hot topics. And now, in 2025, we've expanded our vision to include video and social media highlights to bring those stories closer to you via the platforms you use the most. I am so honored and thankful for everyone who has listened to or watched even a single episode. And I'm proud to say that we have over 6,000 followers on our socials. That's over a quarter of the Ridgewood population, and it's growing every day. This has truly been a service-driven mission and a labor of love. So now we're excited to offer Ridgewood area businesses an opportunity to connect with our valued audience and elevate their brand through our video podcast. This will give you the opportunities to support companies that fuel our platform's growth. So let's grow together. If you'd like to take advantage of these sponsorships, endorsements, and local social media shorts, please email us at ridgewoodtalks@gmail.com. And thanks again for being a part of our growing family. I'm Jeannie Johnson, and I'll see you around town or on the next show.
Our goal at Ridgewood Talks has long been to celebrate the leaders and legends of the village. And now we feature the best of Ridgewood business leaders. Ridgewood Talks and Ridgewood Living Magazine present the Business Spotlight, hosted by Jeannie Johnson.
Hello, Ridgewood residents. This is Jordan Kaufman, co-host of Ridgewood Talks. Thanks for joining me today. In partnership with Ridgewood Living Magazine, we present this Business Spotlight, this month featuring Blue Nail Exteriors. On today's episode, we welcome CEO John Hogan and CFO Nina Hogan. Blue Nail Exteriors is a locally trusted, family-run exterior service company specializing in roofing, siding, solar, and window solutions, serving all of New Jersey. Blue Nail is known for expert craftsmanship and top-tier materials to help homeowners enhance curb appeal and protect what matters most, their beloved homes for their families and generations to come. Ridgewood Talks is produced and recorded at Ignite Creator Studios, right here in Ridgewood. Contact Ignite Creator Studios today for all your business content, marketing, and video podcast needs. They are located right above Talbot's, and everyone knows where Talbot's is. John and Nina, thank you so much for joining us today, and thanks for being in the studio for the business highlight. Welcome to the both of you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Awesome. So you guys started a exterior business, but it's sometimes confused with a nail salon. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So, John, I'll let you start, and then I'll talk about the nail salon.
Okay, so we started out of our apartment in Morristown, 2016, end of 2016. And I grew up in it. My father had his company for 49 years down in Union County. So he did a lot of work over the years. By the time I was kind of a teenager and old enough to know what was going on, it was we were doing mostly roofing and siding, a lot of churches, a lot of repair work, things like that. So those are the trades that I specifically picked up overall. And we met in college, and I finished up my master's program and was heading towards the finance industry, and said, you know what, my father had been retiring, his competitors had been retiring. None of my friends seemed to know what a shingle looked like or, you know, what a roof was. So figured at the time we didn't have responsibilities. We didn't have, you know, mortgage payments and kids and responsibilities. So rolled the dice and see what could happen there. And, you know, really glad to say 9 years later now that we made that choice.
That's awesome. Yeah, getting through that first heat is always really, really tough. So congratulations to you guys. That's super cool, very inspiring. And you guys are a family business. I mean, you guys are running this together. Tell us a little bit about how that experience goes. I'm sure dinner conversations can sometimes be a little exciting.
Yeah, it's fun. I feel like everybody warned us, like, oh, you know, you shouldn't really work with your spouse, but I've never had an issue with it, and I don't think John has either, and I enjoy being able to work with him. And yes, obviously business comes home, but that's just kind of who we are too. We just, doesn't matter to us. We don't mind it.
Well, you guys also have kids.
We
You're
do.
juggling not only owning a business, going out, doing great work, building reputation. You guys also have to go home and be parents.
Yeah.
How does that work? How do you guys both working, both involved in the same thing? If there's a fire drill at work, both of you guys have to be on the fire drill. There's no, I'll cover while you're out. Tell us a little bit about how you guys juggle that.
We don't have any black and white rules in place, but I'd say we do a good job. Nina's a great mother, and the kids, of course, come first. The business, we're really blessed at this point to have a staff that's able to handle things that come up. My brother's in the business with us as well. So we have plans and procedures in place. Luckily, I'm going to knock on wood because I don't want this to come back, but things are running, and there hasn't been that 911 fire call in a long time, not that I can remember.
Yeah.
So it's at home, like I said, it's not black and white, but it's cohesive, and the business conversations, they come up, but it's natural and it's not stressful.
Yeah, we try to focus when our kids are up and not sleeping, focus our time and energy into them. And then if there's anything with work, we talk about it after. That way we can spend our time with them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So obviously when you're starting a business, it's kind of just juggling a bunch of hats and doing everything. But you guys have built out an experienced team now. You're figuring, you've got your procedures in place. You've figured it out. Tell us a little bit about the next stage, next steps. What's Blue Nail really focused on? How are you guys having a big impact?
Yeah, so we're at the point now where we're looking to scale a little bit beyond where we're at. I think growth is a natural point of the process. We're 9 years in now. We've grown steadily along that path. And really, we're sitting here today in Ridgewood as part of that plan. We're doing more and more work in Ridgewood and surrounding towns, overall Bergen County. It felt like a natural progression. There was a need in the market. As we did more and more work, it just felt like the natural best place. I mean, we also got to take advantage of the downtown a little bit, which is nice, but it felt like the right place to be, kind of central to Bergen County as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Ridgewood's such a great town. It mimics a little bit of Montville, which is where our other office is as well. So it felt like natural progression, and it's a really exciting point where we get to grow in, I don't want to say like we've always serviced Bergen County, but now the focus is on Bergen County, and it's been different.
And also when we were looking to buy our first home, we did look in Ridgewood because I have a lot of family in the area, and we always loved that this had such a beautiful downtown with so much history and just, so much going on around here. We love that. So when we decided to buy a house in Montville, we knew that something would bring us back over into this area. And then now we have, an office where we can be in this area and enjoy it. So.
Yeah, no, makes sense. And as you guys know, I reverse commute from this area down to Montville, and we're basically office neighbors down in Montville. And Montville, by the way, stole our old superintendent, Tom Gorman.
Really?
He's also a superstar and a Ridgewood High School alumni. So really, you got two good places,
Yes.
two good places to rest your heads and call home.
Yeah.
So you guys are the resident experts for Ridgewood Living magazine on home exteriors. And I was reading in the March issue, I was like really obsessed with what you guys were saying about roof repair and everything else, because that's something a lot of Ridgewood residents have to deal with, is a roof that's not exactly installed last week. And there's some issues. Do you replace it? Do you just do some patchwork? Tell us a little bit about, some of the expert opinions you guys have had in the magazine, and, what some of the top highlights for you guys are.
Yeah, so I can start. It depends. So we pride ourselves on our honesty and integrity. So if we come out and look at your roof and we don't think it needs to be replaced, we're not just going to, give you an estimate and tell you have to replace it. We'll tell you, you have what we think is this much life left on your roof, and you can get away with a repair right now, and then provide, an estimate for that. But we're not forceful. We're not going to say you need a new roof if you don't. So that is something that, we take pride in.
Yeah, we look at it usually through 3 different lenses. And I should start this statement by saying, disclaimer, I do not recommend any homeowners go up on the ladder and on their roof.
Yeah.
But we do try to give out, like, we'll look at it through a lens of, hey, is there a homeowner fix here? If not, okay, what's next? Is there a professional repair here? And we do have an in-house team for repairs, which I know sounds normal for a roofing company. It's surprisingly foreign. Most do not have an in-house team for repairs. And then if you're beyond that repair, then we're going to look at replacement options. We don't just jump up to the top option. We lay it all out, strategically look at it. Like, how does this make sense for you and for us? How could we help? And, you know, just trust the process that, hey, we gave you some good advice. When the next time comes up, you know, we trust that you're going to call us and we'll be able to help you then.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things I know for me, the last house I owned probably needed a new roof. And I guess sometimes it's hard to see how a new roof can really freshen and make a house look better. But at the same time, when we see a roof with like algae and everything else growing on it, it's kind of like that definitely needs like something to happen. What have your guys' experience been when you've replaced a roof for a homeowner that was maybe dragging their feet a bit or want to kind of kick the can on the expense? What do you think like the reaction is, the kind of big reveal, pull the blindfold off and, here's your new roof? Is it normally people are like, oh my God, I had no idea?
It's surprising. New roof isn't the most exciting project to do, right? Like, you'd rather renovate your kitchen or a bathroom or something like that. Statistically, the roof accounts for 40% of the curb appeal of your home. People are surprised to hear that. It depends on the house, of course. But when we do replace the roof, it's not uncommon for the homeowner to come home and be like, wow, I didn't expect it to, freshen the look of my entire house the way that it does today. So.
And what about how many times do you guys, because a lot of Ridgewood homes are older and people do, kind of piecemeal expansion work and, put a little extension on here and things. So you get a lot of mismatch in roofs, right? It's like this roof was put on in 1970 and then this one in 2010. And so you end up having some of the mismatch. How do you guys deal with that kind of problem?
The transitions, especially from the new additions, usually create an issue at some point. Roofing, we're able to blend everything in. It's not much of an issue. Siding, of course, we're able to blend it in as well, but there's differences. Like, let's take a 100-year-old home. It might have had stucco on the front face of it, and then you come around the sides, and there's wood shake, and then there's some vinyl on the back. So we could remove all of those, or we could fur out the stucco, whatever is needed. But now we're talking differences in space. What is the thickness of the stucco? And we just remove the vinyl. We just remove the cedar. Now what is the depth of the wall? So there's some things to play with. And to make it seamless and make it look like it was all one house built at one time is it's a tricky thing to do. But it takes some skill.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in my search for homes in Ridgewood, and you'd kind of go in and you'd see some stuff, and it's like, that probably looks like that fix is going to be a lot more than just the regular old, shine up. There's something really exciting that you guys do that I think I'd like to, just put on the table early, which is some of the philanthropy work which you do, including putting on a new roof for someone a year. And you guys had such a cool story with that. So I want to make sure we get that in. Do you guys mind telling us a little bit about that story?
Yeah, not at all. So at the time we did it with Habitat for Humanity and GAF. We were doing a free roof giveaway. It was during the height of COVID. So they were honoring, nurses, doctors, police officers, someone in need. And it just so happened that it was somebody within Montville. And we were doing the roof like 2 weeks before I was due. And in conversation with her, she was like, oh, I'm a nurse at St. Barnabas. And I was like, oh, that's where I'm delivering. I was pregnant with our first child, our son, Jackson. And it just so happened that we helped her put a new roof on her home, make her feel comfortable and confident that, her house was protected. And she made me feel comfortable and confident. And she was a nurse during the delivery of our son. So it came full circle for us and was really special and important, and we still stay in touch to this day because then I had my second child, and although she wasn't full-time in the hospital, she still came and, made sure we were taken care of. So it was really special. And, we took that and then made it our own thing and started doing a free roof giveaway a year. And the families that we've worked with, just each one of them are so special and mean something to us. And we just feel fortunate that we're able to do that. And we look forward to it. So, yeah, it was really nice, though. Very full circle moment.
Oh, yeah, no, I think that's it's just such a cool story. I mean, I don't even want to add to it because that's too good on standalone. So let's just let that sit in the air for a second. I'd love to hear a little bit about, I mean, all of us, it's the summer, people have neighbors selling homes. Everyone's really obsessed with their home value these days. Values have really jumped up, whether you've been a homeowner for a long time and suddenly you're like, my house is worth what? Or you just bought and you're like, how do I make sure that, I protect the asset I just invested a lot in? Tell us a little bit about some of the trends that you're seeing right now in exteriors, roofing, or even just construction in general that you think the homeowners should really be keeping an eye on and thinking about.
For me, I'll talk a little bit about the roofing side. So GAF, this is maybe 2 years ago at this point, came up with an updated and new version of what we called the Ultra Shingle. The Ultra Shingle it's thicker. It has another shadow line for curb appeal. The warranty is the best in the industry. So it's not that much more than your standard timberline. So I usually bring that up in conversation. It adds to the curb appeal. It's thicker, better warranty. It's especially important for, you mentioned real estate transactions. Insurance is like the hot topic in our industry right now. Mm-hmm. Getting homeowners insurance or having to find a new insurer or selling the home, buying the home. It just, we're constantly getting calls for inspection reports. And hey, my insurance, my roof is 8 years old, but my insurance says I need a new roof. There is a lot of AI and drone technology and imagery that's not very clear. It's an ongoing issue right now. You're being told that your roof is going to last 20 to 30 years, and then insurance is calling you on year 8, 9, whatever it is, saying, hey, you need to replace it. So there's a bit of a back and forth. It's more of a national thing than just localized, but New Jersey is definitely suffering from the impacts of it nationally as well. So that's something that we did over the past year or so, started providing that service of, hey, call us, we'll come check it out. We'll talk to your insurance company for you, as needed to help give you evidence of this roof is fine. It's 8 years old. Thank you for calling us, but you're good. Call us when you're ready. And hopefully insurance accepts that.
Yeah.
All right, so now we know. Intermediary between insurance company and reality. That does kind of pose something because we've had a crazier weather, and obviously we're coming off of flooding around the country. We just recently had flooding locally, and I know for a lot of us, we hear heavy rains and everything else, and the first thing you think is siding, roofing, what's going on. Has weather been a factor in how often things need to be updated and replaced? What should people be thinking about if they bought an older home that maybe wasn't designed for the kind of weather patterns that we're seeing today? How should people be thinking about it, or just what thoughts do you have?
My thoughts, I wish I had an answer. It's crazy. We've definitely experienced a variety of different extreme weather during this summer. Impact on our business lead generation, great. So yes, there's a ton of leaks that does help us. But man, trying to produce jobs when every forecast is, hey, tomorrow's a 50% chance of hurricane, or it could be the nicest weather you've ever had in your life.
Or a pop-up storm that wasn't even in the weather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been difficult. There's been a lot of roads flooding, basements flooding, which, sometimes can lead to gutter work. We can come out and rearrange the way that your gutters are pitched or add 6-inch gutters, so on and so forth. But yeah, the weather has been difficult for us to judge whether we're going to work the next day or not. So
Yeah.
So it's
And
been
not
more
only
operational.
that, but not only that, like, advice for homeowners, if you're missing some shingles or you notice the chimney flashing around your chimney is missing or there's an issue, like that's something that you want to get ahead of before a rainstorm comes. Or if you notice your gutters are clogged, you might want to get them cleaned or, like John mentioned previously, repitched, because all of that can ultimately lead to leaking in your home. So that's definitely important to look for. The granules, when they start to come off the shingles, that's something important. But something cool that GAF does is they have like a watch, weather watch, storm watch. So basically any roof that we've done or any area that's affected where we've done some jobs, they'll like notify us that there's a storm either in the forecast or a storm hit there that we might not have even known about. And then we can go ahead and go call our customer and say, hey, a storm touched down in your area. Like, let us come out and take a look at your roof. Or even, customers that called us but ultimately decided not to repair or replace their roof. It's something that we can help them with too. So the GAF Storm Watch has been such a help this summer season.
that's actually a really good point. To give you a frame of reference, after we do a project, we submit that warranty. That warranty is then tracked by this service who, if there's severe weather, it will alert us to check on that homeowner.
Yeah.
Year to date, over the past 9 years
years.
of registering these warranties, we've maybe gotten, on the high end, maybe 20 alerts.
Over 9 years.
Over 9 years. Over the past month, we've gotten 160 at least.
Wow.
So it's definitely, something's up. Something's weird, but it is cool technology to know, that we have this alert to go reach out to our customers and we could see the impact of certain areas, not just North Jersey in general, but like, hey, did it hit this zip code? Did it hit this street? Did it hit this house?
Wow.
Yeah, and then we know how we can help our customers. So it's a great tool, but the storm, anything can happen during a storm, like the flash flooding that nobody thought would happen. So like I mentioned before, just looking at your roof in general or your siding, if there's any pieces missing, water can gather behind there, checking your gutters and leaders, making sure the water flow is good and out of the way of your foundation in your home. Those are all important to make sure you're looking at, especially with these storms.
Yeah, and especially just because you don't know what you don't know. So you can have a little bit of siding missing and you don't realize the water's getting in and it's causing all this rot, and you're going to have what could have been a small project that you're going to have to do anyway turns into a huge project where you're, changing a bunch of stuff. So
Exactly. And another tip is to look in your attic, because obviously if you have an attic space and it's raining and there's a leak, you're not going to see it on, your main living area. You would see it in your attic. So I think a lot of homeowners don't realize, like, let me just take a look after a big rainstorm. That's a huge indication if you have a leak or an issue with your roof.
yeah, for me, looking up in my attic is the scariest thing you could tell me to do. So
Hot up there in this weather, yeah.
But I think that's really cool what you guys said, because, having a warranty and something that's basically giving you a warning system to let you know, by the way, you should check on this person. Like they just experienced, extreme levels of weather. That, I think, especially for people who are traveling, they're down at the shore, they might be somewhere. Having that additional peace of mind is potentially game changer.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned something that I think, I grew up in Ridgewood. You always had that friend that was like, sorry, I can't meet up. We had a rainstorm and our basement flooded again. And it wasn't even like a question mark. It's like, it's raining, go get the towels, move the stuff, take this and move this over here because
Shop vac.
yeah, because, depending on where your home is and everything else. And we've had some other folks who work with the town talk about some of the patterns and how really the kind of flood zones are starting to become greater. We've got the Army Corps engineers coming out, trying to figure out how to redirect some of the water so, the additional water we're dealing with and kind of the expansion of some of the flood zones is being somewhat contained. But it was really interesting for you to say that there's something you can do with your gutters or roofing, picture your roofing, to help that situation out. Can you just talk a little bit more about this? Because normally, like, those people who have basements that flood, which, by the way, nobody tells you when you're buying the house.
Yeah.
You got to, try to figure that out. So a lot of people find out afterwards and just learn how to deal with it. But it sounds like there's some hope, because some people, they try everything and they just feel like it kind of goes nowhere. So would you mind just talking a little bit about where you've seen some success there?
Sure. There are some, and these are really low-cost fixes. Gutter-wise, if your gutter's okay, we see a lot of times maybe maybe it's depositing the water too close to the house. You want to be at least 3 feet away from the home. So a liter extension, I mean, that's a couple bucks, and you just slide it right on there. That will help tremendously. You want to make sure that your grade is pitched away from the house. So if you have mulch or dirt or grass or whatever you have going up to your home, you want to make sure that it's pitched in a way that it's going to naturally run away from the house. If you have negative pitch, then like it has no choice. It's coming into your basement and it's going to seep. So those are 2 low cost ones. Unfortunately, like replacing gutter systems, still not a high cost. That could help a lot, but the more expensive ones are if you have underground PVC drainage. Sometimes there's a root that's from a tree that's clogging it or broke it. Those are the more, now they got to trench, they got to figure it out. But at the end of the day, whatever it is going to be cheaper than dealing with, especially a finished basement being flooded. So
You mentioned with underground PVC drainage, which is what my first house in Ridgewood had, and how roots might disturb it. But the other question I kind of had about that is it possible that drainage, which is only running, however many feet down into the ground, that like the water level as it potentially rises is it's not doing the job that it originally was designed to do, because just the geography has kind of changed or something's changed like that?
It's definitely possible. I mean, depending on when it was built, there's probably French drainage, stone in there. It's built to handle a certain amount of water. We're building a lot. I know there's not much room to build, but we're still building. With that, there's more services, there's less drainage, there's less, fields and property and things like that. So things are changing from town to town. Ridgewood's a good example, but you see a lot of building going on all over the state, and there's pros and cons to that. This is one of those cons.
Yeah. And another like lower cost thing you could do is get your gutters cleaned. I think a lot of homeowners don't realize how much debris is built up in your gutters. So getting them cleaned out could be cheaper than potentially getting new gutters, and that could help, buildup of water in that area.
One of the things that Ridgewood's kind of known for is the big old trees that, and look, beautiful for the landscape, wonderful for everything, makes, an experience when you come and visit the town. Probably not great for your roof and exterior. What are your guys' kind of comments to homeowners who might have an encroaching tree or, even a tree that's growing into the roof, right? The branches are hitting or striking the roof in some way. What would be kind of the thoughts you might share there?
Those, 100-year-old oaks and things like that, we're fans of them. We don't want you to take them down. The town probably doesn't want you to take them down either. Cut the branches back. You don't want them if it's scraping on the shingle, it's naturally going to break the shingle. It's going to break through. You don't want holes in your roof. I think that's, pretty common sense. So if you cut back those branches, make sure that they're not rubbing or even close to rubbing, because you get a hard wind, it's going to push those branches even further, especially if it just rained. Then those branches are heavy. They're leaning a little bit more. You want to keep them off the roof for sure. You don't want to damage your roof by yourself.
Yeah, and if there's heavy branches like leaning over on the roof, if there's any storm or like wind, John said, they could snap easily and, cause a lot of havoc to your roof and your home. So it's better to kind of cut them back a little bit. Yeah.
A side note for those branches too are, you want to keep the squirrels off your roof. You want to keep, some of them are fine. We've seen different things, a ridge vent getting eaten. We've seen raccoons eat through just the middle of a field of shingles. So the more you can limit your exposure to things like that, the better.
Yeah.
Is that another thing from a little bit of overbuilding now, where these animals just have less places to live, so they're like, oh, that house looks nice?
It could be. I mean, squirrels, we've seen mice on roofs, things like that.
Whatever can climb a tree. Yeah.
Yeah. We used to, my parents used to have a squirrel that was living in the attic.
Yeah.
And, you'd hear it.
Yep.
They didn't really know what to do, and my mom, a little bit of a bleeding heart about it. So she's like, we can't kill it. So we had to install a whole system where it could go out but couldn't come back in.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But and apparently it worked, or maybe it didn't. I don't
you
know.
didn't hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Maybe you just got sneakers or something. So we have a lot of historic homes in Ridgewood. And like you said before, there's a lot of interesting quirks that can come with that. And what are some of the practices or just things that homeowners with some of these older homes, like what are ways that they can kind of think about what it takes to, own one of these homes, keep it in good shape, and make sure your value isn't eroding over time, but instead continues to enhance?
In Ridgewood specifically, like the last 3 jobs that stick out in my mind were like North Monroe and Westfield Ave and I think Bel Air. They were all kind of similar to what I said before in terms of they had stucco on them and they were moving to James Hardie siding. Mm-hmm. So there was different sections that needed different demo and different work. Overall, we replicated, a couple of them were Tudor style. Yeah. So Tudor is kind of a, maybe 60, 70, 80-year-old, up to 100-year-old style. That's not outdated, but that's when it was, kind of coming into its own. A lot of trim on these projects, a lot of curved trim, which is a really difficult thing to do. You have to be very talented to make sure that everything is symmetrical and looking proper. So we've been mimicking a lot of these looks with James Hardie. Mm-hmm. For example, if it was a stucco house with a lot of trim, we would take that off, put on James Hardie, a stucco looking panel, and then add trim to that to replicate the Tudor look, but no more issues, no more leaks, no more damage on your stucco. Totally modern, updated with a classic look. I know you stopped by some of these jobs recently, right?
Yeah, and like if there's a historic society involved, like we've worked directly with them to make sure that we keep your home exactly how you want it and how the historical society has seen it. So we've worked with a lot of historic homes and we want to keep its beauty and maintain it just as much as the homeowners do. So we take pride in that. We love the design of it. We love helping them pick colors and, just helping them figure it all out and visualize it. We have a really cool application. It's called Hover, and we can doctor up your home to show you, similar to what it would look like in a 3D model. So that's definitely helped to help customers feel confident that their home, the historic parts of it, won't change much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So outside of work, being parents and everything else you guys are doing, what do you do to normally kick back, relax, and just spend some quality time with each other?
Well, I'm a sourdough baker, so I love to do everything sourdough. So that's my hobby outside of parenthood and work, and I find a lot of joy in it, and I think John and our kids love to eat it, so...
I'm the sourdough eater. I guess it's my hobby outside of work and kids. I mean, we're in the thick of it. Our son's 5, our daughter's 2.5, so a lot of times allocated there, gratefully, right? Outside of that, I'll occasionally on the weekends play basketball up here and down the street. It's technically Wyckoff, but it's St. Nicholas Gym down the street, not far from here. And that's really, the pie is only so big right now. Yeah. So,
but it's fun because you know what? When we were kids, we got to experience things, but you don't appreciate it. And now that we're seeing things through our kids' eyes, we get to appreciate it more and relive it. So that's the chapter that we're in right now. We see our son get excited over, basketball and sports. And I'm sure for John, that's really exciting because he loves sports and still does. So, and my daughter loves to paint her nails, and I just enjoy doing that with her because, it's something that you look forward to when you're young, and now that you're experiencing it, it's a full circle moment. So we're enjoying the stage of life we're in for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to be in the community too. As you were talking, something that stood out was we had a table at the Easter celebration in town, and our kids... we're going nuts over picking up candy from every single table, everything from the Easter Bunny to the Chick-fil-A cow, and what else? There were a lot of things, a lot of fun, a lot of activity there. So it's good to get out all together and kind of a mix of family and business and community.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. And Ridgewood does a lot of community events, and I'm glad you guys were able to go to the Easter. We hope to see you at a lot more community events.
We will.
And hopefully a lot of our listeners can now recognize Blue Nail as not the new nail salon that is coming into town, but instead people that can help out with the home and take a look with, an honest and objective view of here's what would help, and, not feel like people are being pushed to some product or solution, that you guys are really there to help nurture and take on some of the load and burden of trying to figure out what do I do with this place to maintain my value, make sure the structure is safe, and make sure the structure continues to be in great form. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys coming on the show today. Hopefully you had fun. I had fun talking to you guys.
We did.
Thank you, everyone, all the listeners. Thank you for tuning in to Ridgewood Talks, this particular episode, our Ridgewood Living Business Spotlight. Hopefully everyone can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Please subscribe to the podcast on all major platforms. And if you want to see it on video, we're on YouTube and Spotify. I want to give a special thanks to John and Nina from Blue Nail for coming out. Special thanks to Ridgewood Living for all the great work that they do. I want to give a very special thanks to Ignite Creator Studios for all the great work that they do in helping us get this out. Remember, Ignite Creator Studios here in Ridgewood, right above Talbot's, available for all your video, podcast, and content strategy needs for marketing, business, and services. My name is Jordan Kaufman for Ridgewood Talks. Thanks again to our guests, and thanks for watching.